Hello and welcome to the Vanguard of Light. Oh, we're in the deep woods. I hope that was fun. Okay, so we're going to be talking about how to energetically align your goals, and there's going to be a twist to it that you probably haven't heard before. And if you're on a spiritual quest, which obviously you are if you're on this channel, because we're on the spiritual quest, we're open to, that spiritual energy, that amazement, that awesomeness, that excitement, and also the challenge that comes with that is that goals are different for the spiritually minded person. They don't work the old way anymore. You can't use them to be distracted while kind of going to enlighten yourself, to take it to the next level. The goal's got to energetically align with that. And one of the ways that they do that, or a big way that I've recently discovered through this massive detox I've gone through after being on the road for 3 months and kind of really making that push to continually be switching it up, continually pushing it to, break open new information. And I went through a massive body detox from it, which was tough. Still kind of getting over that. That's a little bit more of the allergies from just my body being worn out. And then also a new environment that's got nice pollen things that I'm reacting to. But it's more the detox that's kind of kicked all that off. But anyway, so what's the uniqueness is that your goals, once you come into like the spiritual world and really start delving down into this kind of spiritual upliftment, this ascension, is that they're no longer kind of like these contained pillars where you're like, okay, I'm going to go focus on this. This is going to be my goal. And this is what I'm going to get, physically. Physically it's my goal. I'm just going to go for that. I'm going to be, having it, right? And, this is what I'm going to get financially, or this is the kind of relationship I want, or this is what I want spiritually, right? And having them being their own unique kind of like pillar that you're going to go for. That doesn't work anymore. That's breaking down to where if you're not aligned with, say, your physical goal, right? But you're in line with all these other ones, right? Okay, well, I'm just not going to focus on my physical stuff, but, I'm going to go after this goal. You'll actually start sabotaging your other goals that you're in line with. You could be energetically aligned with, you're on board, but your physical or your relationship goal or your financial goal, whichever it happens to be, wherever you happen to be stuck is the one that's going to pin the other ones too. Because like in the spiritual realm, it's holographic, it's like they're all connected. And you can imagine, like, say you're going to go for a certain, financial goal, realize that, be like fully embodied in that. And you're going to go for, say, a romantic goal, and you're like, I'm fully on board with that. I'm connected, and it's going to be like this, it's going to be awesome. But, I got some physical body stuff that I'm not willing to deal with. I'm not going to, that physical body stuff would all come into Technicolor if you were to achieve those other goals to your wildest dreams, or vice versa. It doesn't matter what category it happens to be in, that you could have a lot of clarity in a certain category, but if you don't have clarity in another category, or you've got a wound, you're broken in that category, that one hurts, that one you can't like even confront and look at, it's going to pin how far you can go with your other ones, because your other ones are just going to cause almost like a big giant light to be put on that area you don't want to focus on. So it's going to end up stopping the other ones because that one doesn't want to focus on. And then in this kind of holistic spiritual sense, everything gets focused on. It's going to be your lowest common denominator is going to be what's, going to hold things back. You're not going to be, super dialed in, connected in this one area of life when you've got other parts that are like, I can't even look at. They're gonna hold each other because they're all interconnected, and it just makes it a convenient way to like pick the different ones that you want to go after and then use that as like your spiritual progression to see where you're at. So let's just play. We're going to do it all right here, right now. We're going to have, I guess, 4 more of these that actually go specific to each one. But we're going to go through of like, think of what your physical goal is. Like physical body, what's that going to be? And it's not going to be a stress. You're not going to do it in a stress. You're just going to do it as like, okay, do you have one? Does something come to mind? Is there something you're working towards in like the physical sense, like your body, your health, like that? You know, it's like, is there something there? Is there not there? It's like, okay, if it's not there, is it there? How clear is it? Right? And we're just taking an inventory of like, okay, yeah, I've got a physical goal, right? And then go like financially, like, do you have a financial goal? Is that fuzzy? Is that clear? Is it concrete? Is it, ooh, I don't like to focus on that? Just notice, we're just getting first kind of lay of the land energetically of where you're at. And one way you can do is put your hand on your chest while you think about that. Because we're going to bring a little bit of peace to your goals, a little bit of calm, a little bit of like kind of pull out that reactivity. Because a lot of times we pick a goal, we think that's what we want, but we unconsciously, there's a lot of resistance to it, but we push through it anyway. But let's just put our hand on our chest and kind of just start pulling out some of that angst. That's going to make any goal you're going after so much easier if you don't have that like with it. You know, it doesn't mean it's not going to be a challenge. It's not going to, you know, stretch you. It's like, put your hand on your heart and think, okay, what's that? You know, almost like we're sending a little bit of love to it. You know, but okay, what's my physical goal? And whether you have it or don't, you know, we're just going to be like, okay, we're just going to notice. Okay, I don't have one. Oh, I do have one. Oh, it's clear. Oh, I feel good about it. You know, okay, just get clear on that. Same with the financial goal. You're going to pick that financial goal. Okay, where are you at with that? Hand over your heart, kind of just getting, okay, I'm there. And then also, relationship goal. You're going to be like, okay, what's my relationship goal? Okay, hand over heart, get clear. Like, is it clear? Is it fuzzy? You know, and it doesn't matter where it is at. We're working through this. This is all fine, right? And then even a spiritual goal. Okay, what could sum up a spiritual goal that you have? Or you don't have, it's fine, you know? So we're just gonna get that, kind of get that baseline and be like, okay, where are we at with those 3 areas or categories, right? And you might notice one's really, really clear, but the other ones are vague. And maybe even like they're vague and I don't really want to focus on those. I don't want to focus on those. I want to work on the ones that are clear. But in this like kind of holographic spiritual reality, it's gonna cause a lot of strife, a lot of angst to do it that way versus like we're gonna bring healing to each one of those areas, right? And it's gonna be gentle. It's gonna be very powerful. It's gonna be very illuminating to kind of bump up against that. So we're just going to do that. We've got our 4 different categories. We picked our goals or realized we didn't have them. That's fine too. And we're just going to take a moment to kind of take an intuitive sense of how energetically we're aligned with each one of those goals, right? Because you could have clarity on each one, right? And then you think about like, put your hand over your heart and think like, okay, how energetically am I aligned with my physical goal? You know, and I kind of rate it 1 to 10 of like, okay, where am I at? You know, my 10 of like, yeah, I'm on board. You know, my unconscious is good with it. I want it. It sounds good. It's positive. I want it. Then you same with like your financial goal of like, okay, how much of an alignment am I with that financial goal? You know, because there could be some resistance. There could be, but like, how much do I feel like I'm energetically aligned with that? And then you'll go with your relationship goal and feel like, okay, how energetically am I aligned to have that? Like, you know, right now in my life. And be like, okay, and you're just gonna rate that 1 to 10, you know, while we're sending a little bit of love to it, you know. We're always gonna be lifting it, always lifting it. And then the same spiritually, like where are we at spiritually? Like on that goal of like, okay, do we feel like we're unconsciously aligned to that? That we're like, yeah, we're on board with that. Or could there be some things of like, oh wait, I didn't notice that, of like, don't quite feel as aligned with myself spiritually. It's like, okay, that's fine. There's not like a right or wrong. It's not like, oh, you know, oh, you got a 2 out of 10 and you failed. It's like, no, we're just getting awareness as to where we're at. And it's also going to bring us some awareness of like, where some of them really high, but yet not moving forward, and other ones really low, and we kind of weren't paying attention to. That's the big thing we want to kind of look at is like, okay, maybe we're getting some guidance there as to, there's a place that need some healing, that need some assistance, because it's getting those 4 areas aligned, on point, where you're excited about where you're going on those, and energetically aligned of like, yes, I'm ready to have that in my life. And not, oh, I'm ready to have 3, but not that other one. No, it's having all 4 where you're ready for them, you're energetically aligned to them. And I'm going to do a process on each one in the coming videos to help get there. That's going to just it supercharges all your efforts, instead of where and you don't have that thing at the end where you achieve your goal and then it's like, is that it? Wow. You know, you kind of get that deflated because you weren't energetically aligned on the process. You know, it was kind of a grind, it was a fight. And then there's other areas that, like, you know, we were neglecting those because we think that, well, if I get this one, then everything's going to be all better once it happens. And it doesn't work that way, but we're going to get it to where it does work, to where the goals come easier, the balance happens, and like that deep sense of profound joy, that feeling like really dialed in, hooked up, all of that comes along too. So I hope you join me on the next videos where we're going to jump into, okay, now what can we do with wherever we're at? Whether it's completely vague, we don't know what the goal is, or whether we got it dialed in and I feel like I'm on point, how to move each one of those forward and kind of build that, you know, holistic alignment across all the goals. So until we talk again, have a blessed day or a blessed night.